Okay. I read the reports and it looks like Raymond is with Miss Nancy, who is a family friend. I hope I got the impression things are going good. It looks like Miss Thomas's report, he's going to a new psychiatrist for some meds. I don't know, maybe it's already happened. Child support needs to be discussed. Miss Carrillo, you need to show your face. That is not your face on the Zoom screen. I don't know where the father is. Miss Wheeler, do you know where he is?
My client, Judge, and I told him 10:30. That's my bad. I don't know that if he's going to get on or not, but the docket sheet said 10:30. I should have told him earlier.
Yeah, no, 10:30 is right. Everybody's just supposed to be on 10 minutes early. So, yeah, he's not here yet. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. CPS report said that mom and dad were living in a motel and dad kicked her out. I don't know what the current status of that is. So, Ms. Guy, I guess we just go through the attorneys. You may begin, please.
Kelly, are there any specific orders we need at this time? Judge, we are headed to mediation, and that's to be completed on July 31st.
Okay.
Right now, Ms. Guy, nothing except, getting some kind of financial help for Ms. Jern. School's going to be starting, so it's going to be school supplies, and he needs some new clothes. Right now, she is getting some assistance from Davita's parents, but, I just feel like the parents, need to help.
Haven't we ordered child support before and all this?
Yes, Your Honor, you did last year.
You did, Judge, and the parents made, let's just say, partial payments, and then just stopped.
Okay, let me look back at the docket sheet. Hair strand on Jern's parents' neighbors. Did we do that?
Yes, we did. And her hair strand came back okay.
Okay. We need to change the child support anyway, because the last child support on 1/9, I ordered child support payments payable as directed to Raymond at City of Hope Missions, but sent to Mr. Grove, blah, blah. So we need to change that anyway. Let me keep looking. Mr. Grove, can you figure out an arrearage amount for me? Maybe not today, but can you get that done?
Judge, I'll be happy to calculate an arrearage amount. I'm not sure. I do know that the court made orders when I moved over to the Eggleston law firm that child support payments were to be either paid to someone else or directly to an entity. That's what I'm confused about as far as calculating the arrearages.
I bet they probably weren't paid.
Okay. I need to figure out and go back and look and see what exactly the court's orders were to get you an accurate amount, Judge.
You ready?
Hold on. Yes,
and Ms. If you can call City of Hope and see if Raymond had any money in a trust fund.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
No, Ms. Thomason, you're muted.
I don't think he did.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Grove, Dad pay $100. Mom pay $50, beginning 10/1/22. Okay, and $50 was to go in his trust fund, but it was still supposed to go through you, so you would have the full amount. Okay, Miss Guy, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Wheeler, what do y'all need?
Nothing really new. I know that my client is finished with all of her services with the exception of any arrearage that she might have on her child support. I know she's interested in having visits with her kiddo, like as are appropriate. And so she wants to be able to do as much of that as possible. She and Mr. Carrillo are no longer together. So she obviously wants her location information and contact information kept secret from him. Past that, though, I think that really meets our needs for the moment.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cooley?
I just want to clarify the CASA report said mediations on July 19th. And so that might have just been a typo. I need to make sure it's not that day because I have a trial set that day.
It's definitely the 31st. That's just a typo.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't had contact with the client, Judge, but I did send him the reports and asked him about child support, and send him the link, and if he logs on at 10:30, that's my bad.
Okay. Casa, y'all need anything else?
Not at this time, Your Honor. We did get Raymond some movie tickets, got him a bicycle and a helmet. We're about to be taking out there to him.
Cool. That'll be fun. Good, good. He doing okay with Miss Nancy? Is he minding? Everything good that way?
He's having issues here and there, but nothing that's detrimental or where it would jeopardize the placement. I think he's doing good. It's just once we get him into school and get him busy and with grades in school and extra activities, I think he'll adjust very well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Grove, what do you need?
Judge, I'm tickled pink to see that Raymond's doing great in his new placement, and I'll get the court and everybody else that child support arrears just as soon as I can.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to order, but we need to talk about this. I'm going to order each parent to pay $75 per month child support beginning 8/1/23. The old child support orders remain in effect until then. So dad was ordered to pay 100, mom was ordered to pay 50. And I'm also going to order each parent to pay $25 per month on the arrears, also beginning on 8/1/23. So basically dad will pay 100, mom will pay 100. If that even happens. You know, my opinion is if you can't pay $100 to take care of your kid, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, a 13-year-old little boy eats more than $200 of food a month. And the way Raymond's been growing, I've been hearing, the whole time is growing his shoes, blah, blah, blah. So $200 is nothing. But that's what I'm going to order. Mr. Grove, since you're there and Raymond is no longer at City of Hope, how am I going to do this child support? Who's the intermediary?
Judge, that's a fantastic question. I think we've run into this problem before in my cases with you. I think CASA is precluded from doing it. The department's precluded from accepting money. Is that still the case?
What if we did a Walmart or HEB gift certificate, and then it's not money?
I can certainly be the processor of those gift cards and mail them out. That's absolutely no problem.
Okay. Miss Nancy, if they did that, would you be happy with like a Walmart gift card? Then you can get clothes or gas or whatever you need. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's just say gift card child support via Walmart gift card payable to attorney ad litem to placement, and same way on the arrears. Mr. Grove, we'll figure out the arrears, and right now we're going to do $25 per month payable to Miss Nancy, and then when we get to in this case, we'll figure out where we are on the arrearage amount, and we'll figure out who we want to pay that to. Probably pay it to Miss Nancy also, but we'll worry about that later.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to clarify that the gift cards moving forward are going to be made payable to placement and not payable to me.
It's just going to be it's not going to be payable to anybody. It's just going to be a Walmart gift card.
Oh, that's right. I haven't had a gift card in a while. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. That's okay. Yeah, it can be payable to anybody. Yeah.
Right. They're a bearer bond.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay, that's good. That'll work. Help with some school supplies and stuff like that also. Okay, y'all are going to mediation to kind of figure out what the plan is. Okay, Ms. Carrillo, you have a service plan. You have to comply. Your parental rights can be subject to termination. Parents in corpus. Anthony's with family friend. Same place he's always been. I saw the drug tests. I think I'm kind of unclear on if they're done through the department or they're done where the parents are living. I wrote, everybody's just sort of kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing. We need to talk about child support. We need to talk about visits. Need to talk about inpatient for both parents. So just a lot of stuff on the table based on my notes. So we'll just go through the lawyers. Ms. Guy, you may begin.
Judge, just inquire of Ms. McDonald if there's any specific orders or issues that you want to address outside of the what's in the court report.
She's having some delay or technical issues. Yeah, she didn't look like she can hear anybody. I was hoping to maybe get an answer from her on the drug testing because I know we've talked about it, but I'm also
just
kind of confused.
To clarify what the judge was asking about drug tests, they have courtesy workers for them in Corpus Christi, and they are being.
They do have courtesy workers down there. I know that we have sent them for some drug testing, but I don't think that was set up like right when they got there. Let me text.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I mean, Judge, I've been participating in drug screens since I got out of Senecor weekly.
Can y'all hear me?
And hair
Hold on.
follicles as
Do you want
well.
me to come back in?
Hold on, Miss Knowles. I hear you. Miss Knowles. Hold on. Yes,
Yes,
Miss
ma'am.
McDonald, start over. Come back in. Hang up and start over.
We need signs that we can hold up.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
just texted her.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe the chat.
Nobody looks there.
I always forget about the chat.
I know.
Move her and then she can come back in.
Cool.
She gone.
I am no longer the person with the worst internet on any Zoom screen.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Elon Musk. I love you.
She might, I mean, she doesn't ever, I don't think she's ever had that before. It just must be bad location or bad day or, who knows?
Yeah, weather.
Yeah, weather. Yeah, we wish the weather. We wish that storm, we would be very happy.
Is it dry up there?
Oh my God, it's disgusting. But it's dry down where y'all are too. I was there not long ago. It's drier than I've ever seen it.
Is that better?
Maybe.
A little bit.
Is that better?
Can you hear me?
So far,
Okay.
Oh,
So we were talking about the drug test.
Yes.
Okay, they do have courtesy workers set up for them, and starting in July, the courtesy worker is the one pulling the drug test results for me and sending them. Prior to July, Ashley was being done by our contract manager here in Region 7, and he has sent me, when I asked for him, he sent them to me. He sent me some today, I think current up through what was on the court report. 6/22, she was positive for the amphetamines. 7/5, she was negative. 6/27, she was positive for the amphetamines. I haven't gotten a update about his drug test. I think we had the one.
I've done 4.
Right,
But-
but when I asked the courtesy worker for those results, I haven't gotten those back yet.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss McDonald, does Miss Ashley have a prescription?
She sent me a prescription bottle. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I do
that
need
would-
to confirmation on who's prescribing those now, since
Stephen Vaughn, Phil from Vogel from Lampasas. That's my primary care. We're switching it to Driscoll out here from Scott and Wright Care. So it's taking some time with the insurance to get everything switched over. So for me to find a PCP, because they're booked out until September. So until I can get that adjusted, because it's controlled, I have to continue to do virtual visits with Stephen Vogel in Lampasas and do that like that until and I'm paying out of pocket for that until I can get somewhere in here. There's just a big place and there's not many, where the insurance is accepted. It's Medicaid. So you would think they would be accepted everywhere, but they're not.
So you're taking something, or Miss McDonald, she's taking something that would appear to be positive for amphetamine, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Adderall. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, anybody have any questions of Miss McDonald?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Miss Guy, you need anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Miss Bennett, what do y'all need?
So Ashley has gone to MHMR and they sent a letter or some information stating that she doesn't qualify because she's already under current treatment by a primary care physician. I know in the court report it said that she hadn't made that appointment yet, so.
You know,
If I
to
can
me,
get that
there's a,
documentation.
to me, there's a big difference in me going to MHMR versus me going to my primary care. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean,
That's why
I'm
I go ahead and follow through with the psychological, ma'am, and everything like that.
say that again. I was frustrated again.
Okay, sorry, Judge Mabray. That's why I went ahead and set up for the psychological for Stonebridge to go ahead and follow through with that eval as well and to get all that set up. And then maybe if that referral will go ahead and push them in, you know, and if anything, they said I can reach out for services, and if I need to, by all means, I will.
Okay.
So
If it
her,
is requested.
her psychological appointment is July 13th at 3 p.m.
Oh, good.
She's in parenting classes.
When
And
did those start?
they start July 11th. So tomorrow's the first one.
They're 8
Right.
weeks. Yes, ma'am.
And it's an 8-week parenting class. She sees Tina Nunley for individual therapy Tuesdays at 11 a.m.
And when did that start?
That starts this week.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Somebody at the Coastal Bend, but there's just a transportation issue. So it's better to do virtual. So I went ahead and did it with the one through Lampasas since there was already a 1270 or whatever it is already through her, and went ahead and did that. So that we could get it straightened out.
Okay. She's been going to Corpus Christi precise DNA testing for observed drug tests. She's
Child-
still working at Hewitt.
Yes, ma'am.
At where?
Hewitt, like the cleaning, is the cleaning place.
Yeah, commercial cleaning
Service-
subcontractor.
Service Masters?
Yes, ma'am.
We work for
Okay.
Service Masters through, but it's at Kiewit.
We're
is where
subcontractors is what
we're
we are.
subcontractors.
Okay.
So
It's still the same job.
yeah, it's still the same job. It's just got quite a few names.
Yes.
The child support, Natalie.
Oh yeah, and I believe she's paid all her child support and is caught up except for maybe $70,
$90.
$90.
We're talking about that being the, using it on the Barnes's taxes.
Yes, when they claimed him because they hadn't had him over a year or over 6 months. So we went ahead and just arranged for them to go ahead and claim him and get that tax return. They looked at the itemization, and I told them to, break it down by months and do the math and to send it to the department. She said she has all that information and that William only owes 100 and I owe 90. Just because at that time we didn't have jobs, and I felt like that was the best route for the best interest of Anthony. And so that's what we went ahead and did. I don't know if that's okay. I don't know, but
And I'm in agreement with that as well.
Well, it sounds like Ashley's doing well.
Yes, ma'am. We both are.
I'm
What?
concerned that
Go,
things
Ms.
start happening whenever we set up a court date and I reach out and say, I'm working on the court report. Then they schedule the parenting classes. Then they schedule the individual therapy. Then they start the virtual visits.
Well, we've been
Well,
doing our virtual
hold on
visits,
one
and that's well into April. I have proof of that, and so does my attorney. And as well as the parenting classes, they do 8-week classes, so we had to set it up through the Coastal Bend area, and that's not on our schedule. As far as the individual therapy, I've been trying to get back and forth.
Understand, but I mean, only when I reach out to y'all, getting close to court time, do y'all say, oh, well, I need to do this and set me up for this?
Well,
That's my
the thing is
concern.
We've been
And the virtual
progressing as
visits.
best we can.
Well, I was in Senate court up until a month before.
Hold on. Ms. Mabry's talking.
Stop. Just be quiet. It's a he said, she said. I got a plan. Everybody just chill out. We're good. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Bennett, anything else?
Yes, I think that was just sort of our update. My request, I think, is just for like more visits with the baby.
Okay. Okay, Ms. McClure, what do y'all need?
Dad is also working on his stuff. He did go to rehab and William, you did complete that. You were successfully discharged.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I think what we have here is, maybe these parents, either they just got a late start on things and maybe we're going to, see some solid upward trajectory. The bottom line is it's either going to work or it's not. And if it's not going to work, if they don't stay on it, then we know where we're headed. But it sounds like for the moment, they are making this work and they are working together and working hard. I have made it clear to William that if one of them falls off, it's going to drag the other one down with them. And they need to be willing and able to walk away from each other if that's what it takes. So yes, I just echo what Ms. Bennett said, that, they are working, they are trying, whatever it may look like, it is what it is. So, yes, we'd like more time with the baby.
Okay, Ms. Richards, what do you think?
So I am a little leery because I have seen the work that the parents are doing, and I want to commend them for it and would love to see that momentum continue, because Anthony deserves to have that momentum and them fighting for him. Other than that, I am definitely on board with Anthony staying where he's at right now, and he's growing and doing well with placement.
Okay, good. Miss Bennett, I have you as the intermediary on the child support. That's weird, but I don't know why I did that, but are you?
Okay.
I mean, I have it written down here. Did you?
I think at the last, if I remember right, at the last court hearing, we talked about the deal that they had come up with, and you had, I can't remember exactly what you said, but something about that was between them. You weren't going to order anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, at the last hearing, I have no parents appeared. Their attorneys appeared. All hearing agreed.
That was in the hearing before last.
It was in our second hearing.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
Sorry.
But here's an order y'all need to know. Both parents successfully complete inpatient rehab. Mom, if she has any more positive missed or dilute QA. That was a prior order. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't have anything written down about another deal. So, Ms. Barnes, tell me what your interpretation of the child support arrangement is right now.
So we had claimed him on the taxes at the very, very beginning of all of this. And then I believe it was last court hearing or the hearing before that. And you kind of had said we had to figure it out because neither one of us should have claimed him on taxes and stuff. And so we had talked about it. I had calculated at $100 per parent per month for 12 months, how much that had come up to, and divided how much they had already paid and the amount we received on taxes. And it came up to Ashley only owing $90 and then Drew only owing $100 left for the year.
For this year of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Let me tell you this. I normally don't put placement in the middle of this child support stuff because it's, it's an awkward situation anyway. Are you good? I mean, obviously y'all made a plan, but are you good with continuing on that way? And
yes, yes, ma'am. Financially, we're doing totally fine with the 3 kids and everything. So we're okay with it.
Okay. So basically they kind of got to escape on child support for the rest of this year, correct? Other than 90 and the 100, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, then I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay. Ms. Kramer, you're filling in for Ms. Darby. What does Ms. Darby need today?
She echoes the sentiments of CASA that Tony's doing really well where he is, and we're not asking for any specific changes today.
Okay.
And Judge, if I could briefly just inquire with Morgan, I think there was something that the department wanted to address.
Okay.
Judge, I just wasn't sure if you were made aware yet, and I didn't want it to sneak up on you, but the caregivers are actually planning to move out of state. Mr. Barnes has reenlisted in the military, and so they will be leaving, and this case will not be over by the time they have to leave. And so Ms. Barnes can correct me, but I believe that right now they're set to leave in October with a possible extension that would bring them to December. I have checked the ICPC policy and I cannot locate anywhere in there where it says, in the situation where a caregiver out of Texas moves out of state. So I'm not sure how we're going to address that, but I just wanted to make sure that the court was aware. So like I said, it didn't sneak up and you weren't aware of it.
I read it in the report. I remember it now that you brought it up. Well, our next hearing is 9/11, so we'll know a little bit more about that kind of stuff then. But I think it'd be really cruddy that people that are in the Army that are caregivers, and obviously y'all get relocated a bunch, we'd have to deal with the ICPC in that kind of capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be anti-government, or I mean, whatever the word, that's weird. So, okay, well, maybe no news is good news.
I don't know how far they are from being licensed, or if they're already licensed, or if the rules have changed. But I mean, I've had that happen a few years ago where we were still able to do, the adoption and everything because they were already licensed before they got transferred. But I don't know. Things change all the time.
Yeah. Well, we're going to lay low on that one for now, and we'll see. Miss Knowles, I've known you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you look great. Both of y'all look good. What kind of light bulb went off? What do we do? What's the deal? Talk to me.
Judge, I've tried it every way. I mean, that 6 ways to Sunday. I've rode every horse there is. I've done it, the wrong way. I've tried to do it the right way, and I never really actually tried to do it the right way, if that makes sense. I know that sounds maybe cliche. I know that it sounds maybe like just gab, but I knew I had to do something, and I had to relocate in order to do it properly. I'm 30 years old, and I look at my life, and I've had 5 children, et cetera. I could give you my story, but you already know it. I just, I want to be a mother, and I always wanted to be a mother, and Anthony deserves that, whether it's me or Ashley. And I don't want to live like that anymore. And, so, I just had to do what I had to do.
Okay. Well, I've seen you when you've been on drugs, and you're a mean drug addict.
You're right, ma'am. I am, and I don't like that person.
No, we didn't like that person. Poor little Miss Pruitt, I mean, she yeah, but I mean,
and I'm sorry.
I mean, no, that's okay. I mean, it was, it out a lot of cases over 10 years, and then being the prosecutor before that, I got a gazillion cases. So I just wanted to,
especially in that region.
yeah. So obviously it sticks out big in my head for me to remember that, So, yes, I mean, and that's back when we were in person too. And, that's a whole kind of different thing. But anyway, yes. Well, okay. Well, I will tell you, I can't remember which counties, because I got 7 counties, but
yes, you got a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Other parents that have had a past like yours,
right?
To be honest.
Yes.
And I have had parents get their kids back. I mean, they've had other new kids,
yes.
Right.
And
they've been able to be successful and get their kids. Okay.
Right.
And,
yes,
flip side, I've had the other side, and they haven't gotten their kids back,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And Ms. Darby's been down this road with us before too, right?
Yes.
And Brittany and I have been there this whole time with you. And I hate to say this, but both of y'all kind of got more to prove than just a regular old case, Yes,
ma'am. Yes, and I agree.
Okay. And we want to help. And we want this to work, and for everybody, and for Anthony too. So, I mean, the best news is he's at a good placement. He's with friends, the military thing. That's great. We're happy for people to serve the country. Right. And if they got to move, we'll figure it out. I mean, we'll make a plan.
Yes,
everybody always need a vacation or somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. What else?
That's all that we need.
Okay. Y'all, the only orders I'm going to say is I'm just going to say visits increase per CPS mid items. Okay. Y'all
yes,
can
ma'am.
make a plan based on how the parents are doing. And I taking into consideration the barns. I know y'all are all working together. Parents, y'all know, what am I going to say next? Actually, you can say it for me. What's
that all your rights are subject to termination if you do not complete your plan, and that you will need to continue, etc.
That's right. Yeah, that's for me to you and to Mr. Landers too. Okay, 9/11. That's our date. Remember, that's a big woo 9/11 date. So that's our next court date, and our trial is 12/4. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Mabray.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody's in recess. Thank you. Good reports.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Don't screw it up, because we'll get really mad at y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Don't screw it up. Don't get really mad at us.
I'm not going to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It'll be like that scene in Airplane where the woman's screaming and they're all in a line to slap her.
I like it.
Oh, yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
But I'll be yelling at you for sure.
I know, she will be lining up to slap me. I already know.
She'll be the first one in line.
She'll be the first one. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
We're gonna get
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, I couldn't tell. Okay, everybody's here. This is a permanency hearing. I think y'all agreed to have it today. So I read the reports. Zaylin is on a long visit with the grandma. Parents haven't done anything on their service plan. Lots of back and forth between these people and those people. And I don't think we want to, unless we go to a breakout room, I don't really want to get into all that. We only have 30 minutes. So we'll just start with Ms. Guy and go through the attorneys.
Well, Judge, I will say that we are asking for placement to be transferred today, so that we may need to get into some of that.
Okay, we're gonna go to breakout room then. So Miss Trinidad, if you can send the lawyers and CASA to breakout room.
Judge, can I have Morgan in there with us too?
Yes, I forget that. Okay, so today I think Ms. Guy, lawyers, the whole thing is what Mr. Dennis wants. Is that correct? Yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so,
Yeah, Judge, parents aren't doing anything, so that's not really a big deal.
okay, anybody have any objection to just letting this be the Mr. Dennis show? No, okay, Mr. Kyle Dennis, you're up.
Okay, I would call the caseworker, Ms. Kelly Tomlinson. When did my client start her visitation with the child?
On the 30, are you talking about the extended?
That's correct, the extended visitation.
June the 9th, that Friday.
Has there been any intake called into CPS during the time that she has had the child?
No.
Do you have any safety concerns that you've witnessed personally during the time that she's had the child?
No.
Has the child been around multiple individuals in my client's family, not including the parents, but her father and potentially some other extended family members?
I heard possibly her brother.
Okay. And you've not heard anything from anyone about safety issues while that's been happening, correct?
No.
The child has been attending daycare, correct?
I think for about the last week and a half, yes.
And have you heard anything from the daycare about safety issues or concerns in grandmother's care?
No.
Have you talked to the daycare?
Yes.
Okay. And everything seems to be going fine, yes?
Yes.
Is it true that CPS and CASA showed up at my client's house on Friday in the middle of the day when the child was not present?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I went to just look at the trailer. When I went to do an unannounced visit, she wasn't home. She was at an appointment, and CASA had some concerns where they had taken pictures, and I went out there Friday unannounced to just look and see if they had been taken care of.
What were CASA's concerns?
One of them was, I think it was, I don't know what you want to call it, like a ball pit, something about feline feces.
Okay. Would you agree with me that my client works pretty much full time during the day?
I'm assuming she does. I don't quite know her schedule.
You do know that she works from home, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it normal for people that don't work at home for you to show up in the middle of the day at their home and ask to be allowed in?
Well, that's why I planned it to do at that lunchtime, hoping that she would be on a break. But I was also aware that she could be busy, and if I needed to come back, I could come back that day.
So the answer is no, you don't typically do that with people who work outside the home, correct?
I can. It depends on the circumstance.
Ms. Tomlinson, are you aware, if you read the CASA report that was filed last week?
Yes.
Do you agree that there are misstatements of fact and omissions in here that would seem to paint the grandmother in a bad light, that were not, and that leave out specific facts that were not included that you have been a party to?
I didn't write the report, so I really can't answer that.
Okay. Do you agree that my client has been cooperative with you other than last Friday when it comes to scheduling your visits or when you make your unannounced visit statements?
For the most part, it just, the run-in that I did have was on a visit that I was trying to go see Zaylin. And she was at an appointment and said that she could meet me at 1:30, between 1:30 and 2 at her dad's. I already had his address from last year. And we were going to go over there and go visit with Zaylin and Grandma. And Casa got a phone call at right before 12 o'clock stating that her appointment was over. She was going to start heading to her dad's. So we decided just to go wait over there for her to come. But
Ms. Tomlinson, that phone call wasn't from my client, was it?
I didn't receive the call. I was in the car next to Casa who received the call from Grandma.
And so you and Casa stayed at my client's home, or my client's father's home, before she said she would be there for a little bit of an extended time, right?
Yes. Well, she said that she was leaving her appointment. So we knew that she would be there within the hour. And so
But before that, she had told you she would be there between 1:30 and 2, right?
That is what she had told me, but she had told Casa something different.
So you're contending that she called Casa and told them that she would be there immediately after the appointment?
Yes.
Okay. Would it surprise you that the text messages show that she said 1:30 to 2?
For me, she said 1:30 to 2.
Okay. And you had a court hearing, I believe at 1:30 that day, right?
It was at 1:30, but I was told at 2. So yes.
Okay. But you didn't tell Miss Deidre that, did you?
Not until the end. When it was around close to 1:30, I just messaged her and said that, we would reschedule, and we rescheduled the visit for the next day.
So did anybody tell her that you guys would be waiting at her father's house at whatever time it was that you got there, 12:15?
No, I didn't tell her I was going to go stand there and wait for her.
Okay. Isn't it true that my client told you back in May that she had planned a cruise and was asking for permission to take Zaylin with her?
From my recollection, that was discussed in mediation. So I only caught a few minutes of that mediation. I was in another meeting.
Okay, so saying that Casa didn't have any information and the department didn't have any information prior to the end of June would not be a correct statement, would it?
Right. I mean, I overheard through the mediation that yes, she wanted to take a cruise.
Okay. How many times did you say that you've seen Zaylin since my client started her visitation?
1, 2.
And how long did you see him for during those 2 visits?
The one at the office, not as long. She was coming back from one of her appointments, and she had an appointment to take him to that evening in Austin. But I did go see him at the daycare and spent quite some time with him over the daycare.
Okay. Would you agree with Casa's report that he is regressing while he's been in grandmother's care for less than a month?
I'm not around him long enough to say yes or no to that.
Okay. So then you can't definitively say no, right?
No.
Okay. So let's talk about this cruise. Is it true that back in May, my client gave you the name of one of the individuals that would be going on the cruise with her?
Yes, it was a young lady that's friends with her daughter.
And when was that?
I don't know the exact date. She sent me a text.
Okay. And I believe that you asked for that person's social security number too, correct?
Just date of birth. Sometimes social will help. And then we'll just do the quick background check.
And since you don't know, you can't disagree that was in May, right?
I don't know what date.
Okay. Did you run the background check on that person?
I don't remember if I did. For some reason, I'm thinking I did. And if I did, it came back. It would have come back fine. She's a young lady, friends with her daughter.
Okay, so you have in your report that you would like this judge to deny my client the ability to take Zaylin on that cruise, but you don't state why or any reasons or any sort of investigation you've done. Can you tell the judge today why you think that it's not a good idea for Zaylin to go on that cruise with his grandmother?
I just think it's a little far during a CPS case. I've never had a request like that in the years working here of a cruise going off to the Bahamas.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that either of the parents will be on that cruise?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay. Did you look into the cruise to see if they'd have appropriate medical facilities on the cruise?
No.
Did you look at the boat or the cruise to see how many people would be on the cruise?
No, I haven't received an itinerary.
Okay. So why are you suggesting that it's a bad idea, or it's not in his best interest to go on this vacation with his grandmother, other than the fact that you've never had that request and you think it's a little far to go to the Bahamas?
I just think it's a little far. That is just my opinion.
Other than in your report, did you ever tell grandma that that CPS would not approve the cruise, or that you didn't think it was a good idea?
No, that is not the department's decision. That is up to the judge. Anything that is out of state, out of the country, that's going to be sent a request to the judge.
I'm sorry, isn't it normal for the department to give their opinion on whether it should be approved or should not be approved?
I did not give my opinion to her. I don't know.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Sustain.
Isn't it normal, Ms. Tomlinson, for the department workers, supervisors, or attorneys to give their opinion about whether a request like that should be approved or not?
Yes.
Did you send the request to the judge after my client gave you the information?
No, it has not been sent yet.
Okay. There was a photo that's been talked about in several of these reports. Are you aware of that photo?
It's the photo of partial face of a woman holding Zaylin, that photo.
I would assume that's the photo that's been talked about. That's the one that was given to me by my client.
Okay, then that photo, yes.
Okay. Do you agree that you don't know who the individual holding Zaylin is?
I do not.
Have you ever asked my client who that is?
No.
Why not?
I just recently looked at the photo. I'm not a photo analyst. I have not discussed it with her yet.
Well, if this is being brought up as a concern by CASA, and I assume CPS has the same concern, if I'm wrong, please tell me, but wouldn't it be common sense to ask grandma where the photo came from and who's in the photo?
And I would have asked that on Friday when I went to her RV to talk with her.
Kelly, you're in multiple text conversations with my client, with CASA, with multiple groups, and even me in several of them. Wouldn't it be easy just to send it in a text message and ask grandma who that is?
I could, but I would rather pull up the photo, show it, and ask the question.
Is there a reason that none of the concerns that you've made have ever been brought up to me personally, her attorney, to see what our responses would be, or what explanations might be, or if there would be any way to work these things out?
I mean, I guess I could have called you, but I just thought I would talk with her.
Okay. Because it doesn't seem like you've done a whole lot to investigate the concerns that you have or that CASA has while this child's been in my client's care, or even before. Would you agree with that?
I have not been out there weekly. No, I have not.
Okay. So we're asking for placement to be with grandma today. Would you tell us, the judge, why the department is not in favor of that, and why the department, believe that placement with grandma is not in the child's best interest?
My concerns is that she was supposed to get prior approval, and I did not know that she was going to take Zaylin around her brother. I do have another concern as far as, I mean, I understand grandma loves this baby, and I will never doubt that. I mean, it shows, she does. My concern still is the relationship between her and her daughter. And one thing that has bothered me and that's been on my mind since this is, what about the virtual visits? Where was mom? Usually she'd be in contact with me, if she was going to miss a virtual visit. And I'm finding it hard to believe that mom went a month without getting a virtual visit from her from her son.
All right, I'm going to be very clear here. Are you suggesting that my client is giving the mother, or the father in this case, access?
I don't know.
You don't know whether you're suggesting that or not?
Yes, I'm suggesting that there's a possibility that that is what was going on. I don't know. I cannot prove it.
Do you have any evidence to support that?
No.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Tomlinson? Ms. Guy?
Can you tell the court exactly what happened on Friday when you went out to visit the RV?
Got out there. It was 11:30ish. I called her to see if she, I knew she was home. Her truck was there. So I called to see if she was busy. She said that she was on lunch. She was on her lunch break. She said, I'll be out in just a second. She said she needed to lock up the dogs. So then I heard her say something from outside because she's in an RV, so you can hear that. And then she came out frazzled and upset and was on the phone with her attorney, she said, and that we could come back, but we needed to call her lawyer and schedule a time and date to come.
And what happened at that point?
We just said, okay, thank you, and left.
What was the purpose to be able to see the RV?
To sit down with her in CASA and everybody address whatever concerns that we all had so that we could just, go over them, make sure everything was okay.
Make sure that the environment that the child was in was safe and appropriate?
Yes.
Have you ever been able to visit inside the RV to see that it's safe and appropriate?
No, the first time I tried to go, it was unannounced, and she wasn't there. And then Friday, the baby wasn't there, which I knew he wasn't there because I had gone to just see him at the daycare. We weren't allowed in.
Okay. And there's been talk about this brother. Is that Christopher Weiss?
Yes.
Has Dee Dee asked for your permission about whether Mr. Weiss can have access to Zaylin?
No, she hasn't talked about the brother at all to me.
When did you find out?
Yes, and when I found out from CASA that she had taken him over to her brother's, at first I thought, maybe there was a misunderstanding and it may have been her dad, because in the beginning of the case, she said she did not have a relationship with her brother.
Did she say why she doesn't have a relationship with him?
His criminal history, his drug use.
Okay. And it was the same brother that she's been visiting with Zaylin, is that right?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, no evidence.
I can get to that.
Okay, it's just time.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Let's see.
I've got more questions, Judge, if no one else does.
Ms. Cummings does, but hold on. Mr. Allen, do you have any questions? Ms. Kramer, y'all have any questions? No?
No, thank you. No, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Kramer, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Cummings, questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Tomlinson, you said that the mother had not contacted you at all regarding the virtual visits, correct?
No, she hadn't.
Okay. So if the mom and her attorney, and I know Brittany's not here, had both said that there were emails that were exchanged regarding the visitation, would that be a lie from them?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
When the mother reached out to ask you about visitation, did you refer her to her attorney?
I don't remember. I haven't talked to Samantha.
Are the mother's visitations contingent upon her drug testing?
The one that was the in-person one for his birthday, yes, that one was supposed to be based on the drug results. But no, the judge still had ordered the 2 virtual visits every week. I think it was Tuesdays and Fridays for 15 minutes each time. So they've had that ever since this case started.
Okay. Do you think there could have been a misunderstanding between the attorneys about what the visitation looked like since mom was not submitting to a drug test?
There could be. Like I said, I don't know. I've tried reaching out to Samantha. I've sent her multiple texts and I'm not getting a response. So I don't know how to reach her.
Did you reach out to Samantha's attorney?
No, oh, I did back about the drug testing.
Did you reach out to myself about the visitation or concerns that grandma may be providing them with virtual visitation?
No.
How many visits do you think that the grandmother has done with the uncle of Valen?
I don't know. I just was aware of her going there last Thursday, I guess after she picked him up from daycare at 4.
Do you know why she went over there, if she did?
The text had said, I think the brother had some things for the baby.
So she went over there to pick up some baby clothes and belongings and then went back to her residence.
I'm assuming, yes.
Okay. So there's no indicators that she's spending hours over there or leaving Zaylen alone unattended over there?
No.
And I know there's been a lot of talk about your relationship with this family prior to this CPS investigation. And can you tell me, at your current residence, how many times has Trayvon been over there? Not necessarily to see you, but just to be there for a bonfire maybe, or hanging out with your kids?
None.
And your prior residence?
None that I've ever known about.
Okay. So if he were to testify that he's been over to your residence on at least 3 occasions, you have no idea about those?
No.
Okay. And how much do you know about or Samantha's relationship with your daughter?
I don't know anything about them. The first I ever heard their name is when I got this case. I did not know who they were until the first time I met them. And Trayvon asked me if so-and-so and so-and-so were my daughters.
So you don't have any recollection of your daughter and Samantha partying together and running around and doing things that teenagers do with one another?
No, I mean, not that they ever came to my house, but when my daughters, I mean, when people leave the house, I don't follow my kids.
I'll pass the witness.
Anybody else? Mr. Dennis, you said you had some more questions.
I did.
You
Ms.
don't?
Tomlinson, at our emergency hearing we had a while back, right before the visit started, the department made a big deal about my client being a meth user and she was ordered to take a drug test. Do you have the results of those drug tests?
They did come back and they were both negative. We waited a while for the hair to come back. I had sent an email out with the results.
So the results are that they're negative on a hair test and a urine test?
Yes.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Anybody else? Ms. Thompson, I have some questions. I'm going over some agreement that y'all did. Maybe in May, it looks like. So Zaylen's on a visit, supposed to end today, correct?
Supposed to.
Okay. Deidre shall enroll the child in licensed daycare provider at her expense beginning June 9th. Did that happen?
Well, June 9th is when she took possession of him. From my understanding is he was already enrolled and would have been starting on that Monday, but no, that did not happen.
When did he start going to daycare?
I'm sorry,
when did he go to daycare?
She got possession of him on the 9th, 10, 11, 12. And so for 2 weeks, she had taken off of work and she kept him. And
Okay.
so it was that 3rd week, going into the 3rd week, and that Thursday was his first day there, Thursday and Friday, and then this past week.
Mr. Dennis, did you want to say something about that?
I was just going to say she does have him enrolled, but we got there.
Okay. Deidre shall ensure the child's taking all his occupational physical therapy appointments. Did that happen?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody other than Deidre able to transport the child in this appointments?
It was her that was taking him, to my knowledge, because she did send text that, she had an appointment. So she did that, and she did take him to his well check.
Okay, I was hoping so. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff in here about out of county stuff. Any problems with any? I'm not going to go over all that, but any problems with any of that?
I don't know where she's been.
But nothing has come to you.
Nothing has come to me. No.
Okay. Deidre shall shall agree release, that's what it's saying, shall agree release MHMR for record for the past year, including therapy reports. Did y'all get those?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Your Honor, if
yes,
the grandma did sign a release with MHMR, someone from CPS just needs to go and pick up the records, and that's been signed since the end of May.
Okay. Okay. And is she enrolled in therapy?
No. I don't know where to get the records.
Judge, she is
which
enrolled in
office,
therapy.
from who?
She has been the entire case.
Okay, can y'all, Ms. Dennis, can you email Ms. Tomlinson for to get those, pick up those records, please?
Sure, yes, Judge.
Okay, maybe again, but just do it, okay? Okay. Parents shall submit to hair strand by Wednesday, May 31st. Did that happen, Ms. Tomlinson?
No.
Okay. Then we had a birthday visit, so I guess we didn't have a birthday visit, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So this time, why, I'm a little confused. Why did Miss Deidre say you could not get in the RV?
I don't know. She just said that. She was frazzled. And what I made out of the conversation is that CASA, she said something about CASA has been here multiple times. Every time they come, they take photos, call my lawyer and schedule an appointment. But
Judge, when it was reported to us when they got there that they wanted to take pictures of the RV, which they've had multiple opportunities to do that. And my client was about to check back into work. It was the middle of a work day. It's not something that would normally ever be done in CPS. And the fact that she works from home doesn't mean they should just show up and demand access to take pictures. Nobody ever said that this was a conversation about concerns about anything like that. This was another, look, Judge, this has been a witch hunt, a hit job from the beginning against my client.
And clarify what happened on Friday, Judge.
No, somebody else started saying something. Let Mr. Dennis is talking. Everybody else be quiet. Go on, Mr.
And I'm
Dennis.
done with it. And they showed up in the middle of the day on a work day. And I told my client that they can come back when you're not working and they can call me to schedule it. Unless the kiddo's there.
You know, I got some problems with that.
Sure, but the kiddo wasn't there, Judge.
I don't care. I don't care if the kid's there or not. You know, that's, and I don't care about the dogs and the cats and stuff in the report. Y'all know, I mean, that didn't do anything. Okay. Talk to me about this cruise. When and how, Ms. Thomason, did you find out about it?
The first time I heard about the cruise was when I was able to log into the mediation, because I think it happened on the second go round on the mediation. I had another meeting that I was on. So Morgan was multitasking, and the few minutes that I was able to log on, there was something that was brought up about a cruise. In fact, when I first heard the thing with the cruise, I couldn't even tell you when it was supposed to be planned.
Okay.
I just overheard that it was a cruise with her and her daughter.
Okay.
The younger one.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I don't have any questions, Your Honor, but I have some comments when you're ready.
Okay. Ms. Cummings, I think I saw your hand. What do you need? Or you just have comments?
Your Honor, I mean, just regarding the cruise, it was more than just in passing. Grandma specifically gave the dates for the cruise, the people that were going to be on the cruise, appropriate background checks could be done. She also informed everybody that she purchased the insurance, so that way if he's not with her, she can just cancel it. But she wanted to be prepared in case he was with her. So that way, you know, essentially everything was done so he could go on there with her. So it's not new information to anybody. We've all known about it for over a month now.
Okay.
And I feel like this is indicative of everything, Judge, that we give them information, they don't investigate at all, and then they show up here and say it's a problem.
Hold on, I forgot my question. Hold on. Is the department still paying the Rodriguez's to be placement?
They are still a placement. Placement has not actually been changed. The only thing that was done was the cancellation of daycare through them, with the department paying for them, and medical consenter was changed. So Deirdre was added as a backup for medical consenter.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, well, if nobody has any more questions, I'm happy to hear from everybody because we're late and I have something at noon that I gotta do. So, and I got 2 removals to do. So I can tell you, I don't have time to go back and reread everything and read these reports again now that are filed. I read them to get ready for court, but I gotta reread them now with all this information and I have to get back with y'all later on a ruling. So, but let me just hear from everybody. Ms. Guy, what do y'all want?
Judge, well, I would have liked to call Miss Weiss just briefly to ask her about her brother.
Okay, well, that's okay because your removals might have to get reset anyway, so go on.
Miss Weiss, can you tell us about your brother, Christopher Weiss?
What do you want to know about him? He's my brother. We've gotten a lot closer since my mom's passed away. Yes, he does have a background. He's not the same person that he was. But I don't leave the child with him, and I have only been over there once, and I was there for less than 15 minutes picking up some clothes that he had for Zaylen.
Okay, and this is Mr. White. He's currently on parole. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what do you know what that's for?
Drugs.
Okay, and did you ask CPS if it would be okay if Zaylen were around Mr. Weiss?
No, I didn't leave him with him. I ran over there and picked up a box of clothes and a box of toys.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Anybody else? Did I lose Mr. Dennis? Oh yeah, he's with you. I forgot.
I'm right here.
Yeah, sorry. Y'all are tag teaming on me. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, now Ms. Guy, what do you want?
I know that Nancy and Andrea have a few things that they need to say, but I think that overall, just from the reports and everything, I don't think that anybody from CPS or CASA would say that they dislike Miss Weiss. There's just a lot of concern that she doesn't have the ability to take care of Zaylen full time. They'd love to see her to continue to have visits and to continue to play an important role in Zaylen's life, but just not as a permanent placement. And I think that pretty much, wraps up where we are with her.
Okay. Ms. Kramer.
Your Honor, we are in support of the placement with the grandma. We would like to see the child be placed there, and that way we can work towards some permanency for this baby.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dowdle.
Judge, I also am in agreement with the placement with Ms. Weiss, and I think it's important that the court, when you review the reports, review in detail Ms. Cummings' report because it's very extensive and it really goes through all the discrepancies with CASA, the ad litem, and the CPS. I think it really clarifies a lot of things, and I think it points out some huge inconsistencies in fact reporting and testimony. I think that there was a relationship. Ms. Tomlinson's kids and these kids have been at parties. Ms. Tomlinson has openly discussed the fact that they knew each other in high school. They were at parties together. They were talked about, in different circumstances. And I think that is a concern, and it's been a concern all along. Not because of Ms. Tomlinson's ineffectiveness or anything else, but the parents have not because she's actually biased, but because the parents have a perceived bias. And that perception creates a large amount of distrust on all sides. And I do think that the department and CASA are trying to hold Ms. Weiss to a standard of perfection that none of us have. And I believe that that's not what the code requires. And I believe this child needs to be with family, and I believe this child needs to be with the grandmother. That's all I have.
Ms. Dennis.
Thank you, Judge. You know what I want, but briefly, I will say this. When you review the reports, especially CASA's report, don't look for what's just there. Read in between the lines and look what's not there. CASA and the department have had this pattern of behavior that is bizarre to me in this case. They have not been able to present any evidence that's directly saying my client is a danger to this child or presents any safety issue. All they've done is made suggestions based on behavior that they have not even perceived, that they have twisted into being bad behavior or concerning behavior. But if you really look at it, they haven't done any investigation. All of the things that have come up, my client has been forthcoming about and has received no response or little response. I don't understand why Well, I mean, I do understand it. They don't want her to have this child, and that by itself will make people do crazy things. But if you really look at these reports, and Michelle did a great job of trying to express it, but I really think you need to look for the fact that they have not investigated anything. They haven't asked her where she's been. They haven't asked her who she's with. They've only come out 2 times for the department, and I think 3 attempts for CASA to see this child. And when they have seen the child with my client, when they would be able to make an accurate assessment of how this child is doing with her, they're only there for 15 minutes. You and I both know that you can't make an accurate assessment of how they're doing in 15 minutes. And yet CASA has the gall to put in a report that they believe he's regressing while in her care. In less than a month, when they've only been there for 2 times for 15 minutes total, that he's regressing in her care. It's just bizarre to me, Judge. We're asking for placement to be changed. The law says that the department shall prioritize family placements over foster placements unless there is a significant danger to the health or safety of the child, or a concern that they can voice with direct evidence. And there's just nothing here. So we're asking for placement to change to my client. We would prefer that you make that today, if you can, so that we don't have to transport this child again 2 or 3 times in the next week. We're asking that you pay for daycare because my client's having to pay $700 out of pocket right now until the end of this case, and that we move forward. We would ask that you continue to have the no contact with the parents. However, I would ask that you define the in-person versus the virtual visits related to the drug test so that my client is clear from your mouth, not from anyone else's, what she's allowed to allow and not. Thank you, Judge.
Let me ask you one question though, Mr. Dennis. It said in the MSA that she was going to provide daycare at her expense. Why are we changing that?
I'm asking for you to change it because it's extremely exorbitant, and she tried to get assistance to help with it, which was her plan all along, and she's been denied because the department had been paying for access or daycare for another couple, the foster parents. So they're charging her, I mean, $700 a week, I think, a month, excuse me, for daycare. So she can do it, but she's, it's burdensome at this point. Her plan is to get the child into Head Start though, as soon as he's able to as well.
Okay. Foster is in, hold on, let me look, what area? Let me see. I did the one thing I didn't write down like I normally do. Let's see. Austin. Yeah, awesome. Okay. CASA. Let's see. I think we have Miss Will is Miss Nathan. One of y'all. Somebody go.
Andrea Welch, Your Honor, and if it's okay with the court, I'll just go ahead and do the talking. I've had some concerns from the beginning of the case, and I've actually talked about it and been consistent about it. There's some information that, when I follow up on, she says one way, and then I follow up with it, and then she says something different, or she hasn't disclosed things along the whole year of the case, not just this recent. One of the things that I thought was rather interesting is the dog Nigel. On the very first visit when I went to the home, to the RV, I had documented and I had talked in court that she had, and I talked to everybody, that she had 2 dogs there that were the larger dogs and 1 small mixed breed dog that I met. Then on the second visit that I had gone to go visit her, the dog Nigel was there. And so, I questioned, where did the dog come from? When did you get Nigel? And then she said to me that she had had Nigel there all along, and so it's just kind of those kinds of things that I kept coming across. I do stand by the things that I've observed in my opinions that I put in there in the report. Okay. And when I have talked to the attorney ad litem, it seems for the most part that we were on the same page, and it's only recently that it seems that things have changed. But I would have thought that we would have had the opportunity to talk about it before all of this. And it just seems like there's been such a change in opinion over the course of the case. And I really do think that we probably needed to have talked about it more and communicated. I don't have anything. I can see grandma struggling, but I can see her care and love for the child. But I just think it's every time I see her with Zaylin, she's always just, it always looks like she's in a hurry, she's stressed out, and I have concerns about that. And so I'm just being honest with what I believe are the concerns to the board. And then I can let Nancy can sort of take it from there.
Well, I just want to clarify a few things. First of all, when I came on board, it was in October, and I made it a point to visit everybody. I have visited the foster placement. I have visited them 2 times and done Zoom visits to check on Zaylin. I've gone to the daycare that they were at the time twice. I've went to the new one once. I've seen Grandma 3 times. I've seen Samantha and Trayvon. I've been visiting everybody multiple times. First time I visited Grandma, I was there over an hour. And then I visited her, it's in Miss Cummings' report, she said it was the 30th, but it was the 29th. And I have text messages from Grandma that verify I was there the 29th. And I was there over a half hour because I was doing different things. And I agree with what this guy said, that, you know, it's not that we are against Grandma, but it would be nice for her to be Grandma and not parent. I'm just concerned for the stability of this child.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Cummings.
Thank you, Your Honor, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. And I would just like to clarify that I took the CASA visitation dates from the CASA report. So if there's an inaccuracy in my report, it's because it was inaccurate in their report.
Okay, well, let's not reiterate anything anybody reports, because I'm capable of reading.
Yes, Your Honor. I will say that at the beginning of this case, I was not a fan of Grandma. There were a lot of red flags for me with Grandma and her relationship with her daughter. But Grandma and I sat down, I think back in maybe February, March, and had a long conversation about things that are concerns. And she has done nothing but since then have continued to improve and to cut off her daughter, to not be there providing everything that they need for them. And she has, you know, addressed things in therapy. Her overall just appearance is better, in my opinion, from the time I first met her. I do not see any regression in Zaylin. He's hilarious. He laughs. He loves to eat. He plays independently. He's walks with assistance and then does a half walk, half crawl type thing. It's cute. You know, the law is clear. We are to consider family unless there is a danger to the child. And aside from just saying that there's a what if that something could happen, that's true with any family. This Grandma has done nothing. There's no evidence that she has been providing any visitation, allowing him around persons. And I understand there's a thing with her brother. She went to pick up clothes. She's not getting any assistance. And I would also ask that the department pay for daycare. I had kind of pushed for her paying for daycare in the MSA. I didn't realize how expensive daycare was because I don't have kids in daycare. And over $700 a month, and they don't even provide meals. She has to pack his meals every day. That's a lot for any person. And if you're gonna read the reports, Your Honor, the things that I want are in there at the bottom, so I don't have to go through line by line of each thing. But I think this little boy should be placed with his grandmother.
Okay, Ms. Cummings, you got any child support from the parents?
No, Your Honor. I don't know that actual child support, aside from like personal effects or child support in kind, had ever been ordered.
Yes. 12/5/22. Each parent pays $75 per month child support beginning 1/1/23. Okay. 2 other questions. Are y'all set to go back to mediation?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And maybe we talked about this before and I don't remember the answer. Mr. Dennis, is the failed home study going to have any effect on your client?
I don't think so. We haven't even discussed doing PCA or anything like that. So I'd have to look into it, Judge.
Okay. Okay.
She won't be able to get licensed.
So I don't know why we couldn't do an amendment and see what it comes back on that, since the first home study was
You
done.
can't get licensed in an RV.
Oh, you can't?
There we go.
I don't believe so. I think Miss Molina works for a CPA, but my understanding is that I don't think you can get licensed in an RV.
It's interesting.
If you can, then I was told wrong in the past, and we could certainly look into that, but I didn't think that we could.
Okay. I just didn't know if y'all knew the answer off the top of your head. Okay, well, like I said, I've got a lot to read and reconsider and think about all this. Our next permanency hearings, 9/11, parents shall have a service plan. You have to comply. Your parental rights can be subject to termination. The one thing I am going to rule on right now is the parents are to have absolutely no contact whatsoever with Zaylen until they are service plan and drug test compliant. And they are, since they did not submit to the hair strand that they agreed upon, they are to submit to another hair strand by noon on Wednesday, which is 7/12/23 per CPS. So like I said, parents have a service plan. Next court date is 9/11. I will get back with y'all. Meantime, today's the date Zaylen can stay there, pending my ruling.
Stay with grandma pending your ruling?
Pending my ruling, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So,
thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank y'all. We'll be in recess.